How are we doing, Oklahoma? Chris Evans with you from the High School Huddle. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Coming up in a few moments, we're going to take a look at the 2A Division I Top 10 rankings. There are some changes in those rankings. We'll also take a look at the Week 8 football schedule. Hard to believe some teams will be celebrating senior night this Friday night in high school football. But first, let's take a look at some of the games from last week in 2A1 football. Chandler in the win column as they take down Westville. Final score there, 54-6. Congratulations on the Chandler Lady Lions softball team for finishing up runner-up in their class this year. Little Axe in a close one over Dixon, 41-35. Roland over Bethel, 26-22. Jones, a convincing win. I think everyone had Jones beating Chisholm, but they beat him by 33 points. Ace and Hansen and the Longhorns continue to rock and roll. 45-12. Prague takes down Okmulgee, 68-12. Crossings over Lexington, 14-0. Good to see Lexington back on the field. They had to forfeit their game with Lindsay due to injuries and illnesses. Game of the week on the High School Huddle the past week, the number one game, it was Washington and Marlow, and in classic Washington-Marlow, a single score decided this one. Washington wins at 21-14 with Brent Venables in the stands. I can tell you Marlow was number 4 in the last rankings. Washington was number 1 in the rankings. I can tell you those teams are staying exactly where they are, 1 and 4. More on that here in a second. Millwood gives Mount St. Mary's their very first loss of the season, 24-22. We had talked about Mount St. Mary's being undefeated, but really not having a tough schedule. They run into Millwood, and the Falcons get the victory by 2. Dewey over Webster, 49-14. Kingston over Huebner, 48-20. Lindsay beats Marietta, 42-7 on the road. OCS shuts out Perry, 56-0. It was Crooked Oak over Blackwell. Close game, 12-6, as I think Crooked Oak gets their first victory. Blackwell remains winless on the season. Kiefer, no issues with Hugo, 55-20. Sequoia Tahlequah shuts out Sperry, 42-0. And those are your 2A1 football rankings, or scores. Let's take a look at the 2A1 football rankings. And the Metro Christian. I forgot Metro Christian number 1. Washington is at number 2. I apologize. So Washington stays at number 2, Jones at number 3, and Marlow number 4. There continues to be a very good debate there. Metro Christian has 1 loss this year. They bumped up, lost earlier this year. Washington had their win streak snapped earlier this year. Jones remains undefeated. So there's definitely a conversation to have who could be number 1, number 2, number 3 in those first 3. If you told me Jones 1 or Washington number 1, I don't have much of an argument for you. I don't mind that. Marlow is number 4. Kingston, number 5. Number 6, OCS. Number 7, Kiefer. Number 8, Lindsay. They all bump a couple of spots, as does Sequoia Tahlequah at number 9. And Mount St. Mary's falls down to number 10 with their loss to Millwood. Keep them in the top 10. I thought about it, but we will keep Mount St. Mary's, the Rockets, in at number 10 for now. All right, let's take a look at some of the games this coming week here in 2A1 football. Westville's at Metro Christian. Crossings is at Lindsay. Dewey at Sperry. Marlow at Dixon. Roland at Hugo. Millwood at Chisholm. Webster at Sequoia Tahlequah. Kingston at Prague. And Perry is at Crooked Oak. Got to tell you, not a strong week in 2A1 football this week in Week 8. But nonetheless, we'll definitely pay attention and see what happens this coming Friday night. That will do it here. I guess Millwood Chisholm would be the best matchup if you had to break it down. Yeah. All right. We'll see how it plays out. Don't forget, on the High School Huddle, Phil and Ronnie join me 6 o'clock every Wednesday night. We'll talk about everything there is to be talked about in high school athletics. That'll do it. Best of luck to your football team this week, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday night on the High School Huddle at 6 o'clock. So long.